what exactly is waiting for us in the future. What do you think? What are your fears, hopes, predictions of our future as a race on this planet? The world's changing at quite some pace, isn't it? This is actually quite cosy, isn't it?
That's right. This is cute. Yes.
That plays on my mind a lot.
Kind of, how could things adapt or change for us? Do you think we'll still be here in a couple of 100 years or whatever? It seems quite rare to actually see this side of the world, because we're all a lot of us are kind of locked away in cities and in our houses and things. It's very easy to be optimistic when you're in this kind of environment. But in general, I'm thinking of a wider picture for us as a race, as human beings. You know, what do you think the future holds for us?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, like the, like speaking in early 2025, like the outlook is not great. You know, there's an increase in authoritarianism, populism. It's interesting that we're about, 85 odd years from the Second World War, and when those oral histories and when obviously the atrocities which happened then kind of pass out of living memory for the bulk of the population, the kind of Overton window of what people can do to each other is kind of broadened out. It opens a lot more, and and we see the kind of the lessons which were learned right after the Second World War, and the kind of the kind of liberal world order and that kind of whole basis, is the kind of the general trend has been away from that. But I also believe that, I forget who said it, but, the arc of history is long, but it kind of bends towards right.
And again, another good question, Dwyz, because I suppose the thing is, you take it back to like you say, when we were dwelling in caves and stuff along those lines, we weren't really doing anyone any harm, were we? We were just hunter-gathering and all that kind of business. It kind of sustained the food chain and everything else. However, as you've well pointed out, as we've moved through the ages, it's where we stand now, sort of 2025, sort of the technological advances and the way we are as people, and the way I look at it is the way it's been divided in terms of social media and the way people have been able to get soapboxes so easily, and take sort of what's going on now in the press, where we've got very, very powerful people that have got a lot of influence, and that for me is the worry about where we're going to end up. Like you said there, are we going to physically obliterate ourselves moving forward? I see a lot of kind of history repeating.
I think, unfortunately, humans as a species are very destructive, and we are, unfortunately, as a collective, a warlike creature. So I think the bigger communities get, generally the worse the prognosis is.
Become more tribal?
No, I mean, I think the more we expand out into away from this and small communities and people that kind of look after each other, the more people get lonely and disenfranchised and disengaged. And I think humans have a need to constantly be progressing, and we've created a world for ourselves that is very detached from the rest of nature.
What are your hopes for us for the future? Where do you think we can go, if we can go anywhere? Where do you think we'll end up?
It's a difficult one, because I come at it from the perspective of you see the world through your bubble and the people around you. And if I look at it from that lens, it's positive, and humans can grow and change and develop, become better humans, better to other humans. It's a nice idea to think we're constantly improving, and we're working towards peace around the world and looking after our fellow man and the environment. But then you have to share the planet with narcissists and crazy people, and especially with current landscape and how much we have to share the world with people who are here to mine everything they can to serve their purpose, destroy everything in the time that they have here. And those people are often the ones in power and the ones taking control. They're the ones shouting loudest and having the most impact. And when you look at it from that perspective, it makes me feel like we're kind of doomed as a species, really. We've come so far, and it's tempting to think everything always gets better. But when you look at the social, political landscape, things don't always get better. Sometimes we hit a point and we start pedaling backwards. And so I think from the perspective of society and the way we're treating the planet, it doesn't look good. In my mind, 100, 200 years' time, I don't think things will be so good for people. I think we might have maybe hit a peak.
I think things go in cycles. And I would like us as a species to get back to I guess where we were late 80s, early 90s, that period of I use this word a lot, enlightenment and bringing people together. Those were the years when the Berlin Wall was coming down, glasnost, in the Soviet Union, the fall of the Soviet Union, but it was all becoming more open. Countries were talking more. And what I find really frightening at the moment is how divided people are becoming again. Countries are becoming more insular. I don't want to mention any particular political people, but you have an America First idea. You had Britain First over here, which was a much more divisive and racist movement. Well, I guess it's a divisive and racist movement in the States as well. But I find that really, really scary. And maybe it's I'm very much a news head and a news hound, and I read lots and lots of news, and I find it really scary.
There's always the worry as well about how we treat the world, in terms of like the ozone layer and all those sorts of things, and
Global warming.
Yeah, global warming. And for me, I've got children, and it does make me think, what sort of earth are we going to leave them to inherit? But then in my day-to-day life, sometimes I haven't even got time to conceive of that sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? You can't kind of, there's a lot of people out there doing a lot of good. And I try my best as an individual to, I do my recycling and all the standard sorts of things. But, it's so, when I think of the future, it's almost like kind of, it's quite a dark perspective. And almost when I think of like AIs coming in and stuff like that, and I get this real sort of sense of like the Terminator or things along those sorts of lines.
It's really weird how life seems to be reflecting art.
Yes.
It's like the whole, is it Sensodyne? What's the
Skynet
vibe?
Yes.
And you see it unraveling, in front of your own eyes.
And I think really that it will just lead to destruction to keep heading down that path.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way it's going, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it seems to have been going that way ever since I was born. There's always,
Oh, yeah.
headlines about is World War III going to happen? You know, but, any hope for that to turn around within our lifetimes?
No, definitely not within our lifetimes. No, I think nature finds a balance in everything, and I mean, in a million years, the Earth will still be here, and some creatures will still be here, and there's been ice ages and massive extinction events happen, and nature still carries on. But whether we're a part of it or not is another matter.
You know, you look at the turn of the last century, you know, the global life expectancy was, you know, it was into the 30s, whereas now it's near enough doubled, you know.
I remember seeing a stat where we're from, Nottingham. There's a, you know, Broad Marsh. It used to literally be a marsh where all the people in Nottingham used to live that didn't have any money that helped build it, and their life expectancy was 25 because it was a marsh and there was loads of like malaria and things.
Yeah,
and that was only, like you say, like 130 years ago or something.
Yeah. So, you know, to your question, like, yeah, I mean, you know, I'm generally optimistic despite kind of recent things happening. I think technology will play a big part, certainly from an environmental kind of climate crisis point of view. And, you know, I think medicine and healthcare generally kind of moves on a pace. You know, every month it seems there's a new development on that front.
Would you say overall then you're feeling positive or you're unsure or?
Yeah, I'd say overall I'm feeling positive, yeah. It has a few caveats attached to it, you know, like nuclear war aside, which I think, you know, I think we're in for a good. I certainly think we'll be around in the next couple hundred years, and I think we'll be vastly improved as a species.
So I'm a naturally optimistic person. So while I do have my fears for the future, I hope that, you know, we're reaching a point of saturation with this division and this anger at each other. Something will happen, and then we'll all come together again to pick up the pieces. If you know what
Doesn't
I mean.
it always feel like that though? Has it got any better? I suppose did you reference the late 90s there? Was a more sense of optimism then?
I think so. I mean, as I say, things like you've got the world's two biggest superpowers, if you like, the United States and Russia. When in the late 80s, early 90s, and throughout the 90s, were much more collaborative, and they had much more of a rapport. And I don't know what happened, but it's become very, very sour again, and very confrontational again.
There's a lot of posturing at the moment.
Yes, posturing. I think I think that there are certain type of people that thrive off division and creating division, and unfortunately, those people are quite loud. It would be nice to have those voices who are a bit more progressive and a bit more focused on bringing us together, for those voices to be amplified a bit more. So do I think humanity will be here? Yes, I do. I do. Who knows what it will look like, though?
I don't think we need to turn things around. It's fine.
You think it's fine?
Yeah, humans will die out eventually. Something else will take over. The dinosaurs ruled at one point, reptiles, and then it's the mammals' turn. We're just just top of the mammal tree for now.
Maybe we can go and live on a different planet before that happens.
I don't think that can happen.
No, you don't see us going to live on Mars.
It's not possible to live on Mars. We'd have to terraform it, and we don't need to terraform something because we've got. Yeah, I think we're doomed, but it's fine. It doesn't matter.
Well, while
really.
we're here, then let's just enjoy what we've got.
Yeah.
then hopefully by then Elon's legacy will be taking us to new ventures on Mars and Earth.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of makes most sense, I guess, from an ecological point of view to let's make the most of the planet in the solar system, which actually can sustain human life on its own, rather than setting up a lunar. Yeah. I think there's more to be said when X amount of people don't have clean drinking water in the world. Let's probably make the most of this planet rather than going, setting up colonies elsewhere.
And that we might be looking to roll backwards on human rights, roll backwards on the state of the planet, and that we might be looking at this time that we're in now as a very indulgent time. We can have what we want. We can get groceries delivered to our door. We can have meats and vegetables from the other side of the planet all of the time. And I think we've become very self-indulgent, and we've served ourselves to such a point that I think this is now possibly the start of our undoing if we take our eye off the ball. I don't know how you feel about.
Well, it's true that you don't know how lucky you've got it. So I even remember just before lockdown, there was so much money sloshing around. It was so easy to get work as self-employed people like me and you, to get paid properly. Goods and services were cheap, or affordable anyway. But you just take it for granted, and now everything's double the price. It's really hard to get any work. No one's got any money.
Yeah.
But even now, people are taking what we've got now for granted, and it's just showed it can get a lot worse.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah, the more we pander to our needs as a delicate human species, and the more we search for convenience. So because we've built a world for ourselves that's so busy and crazy, and we're trying to pack in more work and more achievement, and then we need more convenience to fit around that lifestyle, and the more we look for the convenience, the more we're creating so much problems for ourselves environmentally, as far as paying people fairly, human rights. We're looking at mining as much cheap product as we can from overseas, and people suffer to bring us the things that we want. But the more we get it, the more we want it, the more we want more. And that innate part of the human experience is maybe the thing that's going to be our undoing.
Wow. Cheers.
Sorry to put a
Thanks,
dampener
Jane.
on a lovely cup of tea. Just drink tea, forget about it. Focus on this cosy little corner of the world.
I do think some of it, the negativity comes from the news.
Yes.
It's like whenever you don't even have to listen to the news. Like if I'm in the kitchen working on my laptop and Claire comes in to make a sandwich and puts the radio on and the news is on, you're like, oh my God, the world's on fire.
Yeah.
And then she turns off and goes away and you're like, oh no, actually everything's okay.
Yeah, I think...
Well, it's not okay, but yeah. Yeah, I think it will be... I think we are at a crossing point at the moment because of technology, because, all those... Even like we're fans of films like Terminator and things, aren't we? And like the plot of Terminator is like the AI overtook the nuclear codes and tried to wipe us off. I'm sure I saw a headline the other day that like some kind of nuclear plant is incorporating AI into their system or something. We are at that point where, the future's different than we thought it was going to be. There's no flying cars or anything like that. But in actual fact, I think like the things that are more meaningful for our future are coming faster than it was possibly predicted.
Yeah.
That mainly AI, isn't it?
Yeah. The speed of progression is quite scary. And we think back to advances we experienced as younger men, thinking, wow, look at the world. But then you cast your mind back over 20 years and the progression technology-wise that we've made in those 20 years, it's incredible.
It's astonishing, isn't it?
Absolutely incredible.
There's this thing I was reading about. I don't know what it's called, but basically, medicine, right? Because I think in the future, AI is going to be able to advance medicine super, super far, because it's going to be able to be fed all the information and kind of,
churn it out,
correlate it and work out and things like that. And so at the moment, like every year that passes, medicine advances enough to extend life expectancies by, say, like 3 months per year. But it's getting faster and faster. Eventually, it'll be like every year they'll be able to advance life expectancy by 6 months. And there's a point where it'll be 0. So every year they'll be able to advance life expectancy by a year. And then what happens when it goes over that?
Yep.
It's like we are at those points where that the whole prospect of what it's like to be alive on this planet is changing. We're in the middle of it. Not necessarily for the better, could be for the worse. Who knows? But we're living through that now.
Yeah.
And I don't think you need to worry about looking forward 1,000 years into humanity and think, can you control that? Because you can't really even control tomorrow, so it's fine.
It's true.
Whatever will be, will be.
After watching a 35-year-old film.
Oh dear! I think I saw someone pose a question a couple of days back about how was Orwell so bang on the money with stuff, and that particular sort of post that person put up did make me think to myself, maybe it's just inherent in human nature to be this way, to almost be self-destructive and self-serving.
I mean, with advancement, it comes conflict, doesn't it? Like
yes.
the continual strive for discovery and pushing things as far as they can go. Does that necessitate that we're on the edge all the time? How far can we push it on the precipice before we come back? You want to go for a swim?
No, it's very cold.
Come on then. Reminds me of that scene in The Matrix where Agent Smith's talking to, can't remember his name, but he's like, humans are like a virus.
Yeah.
They just spread and take what they want. Oh, I didn't put the car on Ringo.
Oh, right.
We're going to have to walk back after this.
As you know, I saw your previous videos in Tenerife, and I know where I'd rather be.
Next time we'll go to Jamaica or something.
Indeed.
Yeah. Well, we've got a nice budget. It's not so warm now, is it?
No, it's definitely dropping off a tad. Thankful for the big jackets, but I won't go hoods up just yet.
For sure.
All right, matey.
Big up, yeah. Nice one.
Let me get...
Oh, it's almost like a podcast.